I don't know how he's doing it. He's
All right, so welcome back to the 16th annual Great Pacific Northwest Microcar Show. We are in my place of work as my shop. What I do for a living is work on cars, and microcars are my hobby. It's my sidelines, my passion. I really enjoy it, and I've been putting on the show for 16 years with the help of everyone today, and probably presenters and support people and people that aren't watching, but lots of people help put the show on. And I want to thank everybody that's been helping me all these years. It's been great. It's too bad this year is a virtual show, but it is what it is. Next year we do have plans to be back at the Grand Lodge in Forest Grove. That is, if things go as planned. I have the space reserved, and we'll probably be able to catch up face to face then, I hope. But I thought that I would close out this day's events. If you want to hang with me for 20 minutes or so. I'm watching my screen here, making sure there's no last minute presenters. But I thought that what we could do is take a look at this iconic BMW Isetta that's right in front of me. I haven't shown this car for a while. You can see it's shiny and red. It's original paint. I've done a lot of work to polish it and bring it back, but if you look really close, you can see there's scuffs and dents, and it's not perfect, and that's okay, because like my cars, I'm not perfect either. Let's see if we can start this thing up. We haven't had too many cars start up, so the e-brake is on. I got to turn the choke on, which is this lever here, and then turn the gas on, which is this lever here. I'm going to turn it to reserve because I think my fuel tank is low, and I got to wait a second to let the gas dribble down into the carburetor because it is a gravity feed system. And so it's been a few seconds. I'm going to turn the key. Wait, I should make sure it's out of gear so it doesn't run me over. It is. Yes, fires right up. So behind this cover is a one-cylinder 300cc 4-stroke engine. The engine is on this side of the car, and the transmission's in the middle, and the drivetrain is on this side. See that? Little tiny dual exhaust. Here's our chain drive rear axle. 4 speeds forward, 1 reverse. The gas goes in here. The intake air for the carburetor is drawn through here, and the intake air for cooling the engine is drawn through there. Let me turn it off. So turn the choke off first. Turn it off there so you can hear me. And I should probably turn the gas off as well so it doesn't leak all over the shop. Really neat little car. As you can see, it's got a front opening door. It has a top opening sunroof. It's called the escape hatch. It is not 3 wheels. It actually has 2 wheels in the back that are really close together. Super fun car. I'm told it saved BMW. I believe it was designed by an Italian refrigerator maker. At least that's what I've heard. Really, really neat. Of course, they get lots of looks. They have a super short wheelbase. The car is only 7 feet long, so it fits 90 degrees in most parking spots. In other words, most cars park with the curb this way. You can put this one perpendicular to the curb between other cars. It's kind of fun to do that. Some people don't know what you're doing. Really, really neat. Again, it's got a little damage there. Try not to look at that. I will fix that one of these days when I figure out how to blend paint. And it's been really, really fun. As well as this group has been fun. I've really enjoyed hanging out with everybody. I've got a lot more cars that I could show, but there may be somebody that's wanting to present, and so I want to turn the attention over to them. If not, I'll come back on. So if you're presenting, get ready, because I'm going to click off here in just a second.
Hello everyone, we're just trying to get this set up. I think we're good to go. You ready?
Yeah.
So hello everyone. This is Jen, and I'm Nicholas. We have a few toys. We're going to show you a little bit about a Nissan Figaro. We can touch on the Mini too if you're interested. I thought I would start out by just talking about how we got into the little cars. I wanted to give a shout out to my brother Dwayne. When I was a kid, he had a 1969 Alfa Romeo Duetto Boattail Spider. It was a beautiful car. But he ended up having to sell it and then bought a Fiat 850 Spider as a replacement. And I was about 15 at the time and loved his little Fiat. So Jen and I have been dating since we were 15. So our first car was a $300 Fiat 850 Spider. It's currently in Tony Grillo's backyard. So we can get it back if we ever want to. But from there, we liked looking through books and stuff of old, microcars and such. And I kept seeing this other car in the photos. Back then, the internet wasn't really around. And found out that it was a Mini. And fell in love with the Mini. So we ended up buying two Minis in 1999, 2000. The first one being this 1968 Austin Cooper S. It was red and black when we bought it. We have restored it. Still to this day are making upgrades to it. I'll go over some of that in a little bit, but why are you aging us? So we also had a 1970 Morris Mini van that was converted into a pickup truck. It was purple. So if you ever saw a little Mini Cooper pickup truck that was purple, that was ours. We had that car for about 20 years. But we have two daughters, and we couldn't really use the pickup truck to take them to school or anything because there was only one passenger seat. So a few years ago, I guess 2 years ago, we all went to Japan as a family, and Jen fell in love with some cars out there. I always forget the name of it. It starts with an M. I know some other microcar fans like them too. It's like I'm going to butcher the name. I forget. Anyways, it's this little Japanese car that's tiny, but it kind of looks like a luxury Jaguar. Posted online that she wanted one. A friend said, hey, our friend in Seattle just got this Nissan Figaro from Japan, but he's got to move to Austin, Texas. And so we test drove one here in Portland. We loved it. So we went up to Seattle and got this Nissan Figaro and drove it home. These cars are very capable. Drove on the freeway doing about 120 kilometers per hour the whole trip. So it handled it fine. It is a 4-cylinder, 1-liter turbo with only a 3-speed automatic transmission. That's probably the biggest problem I have with it is the, not that it's problematic, just that I really wish this had a 4th gear, because you're topping out 3rd gear so early. Its top speed's supposed to be, where is it? I think it's 85. Not that I'd ever go that fast. No, max speed is about 100 miles per hour. But you would just be killing that engine, just rev so high. So I'll show you some of the car here. You saw some on the last video as well. It is a very more luxury-ish car. Seats are leather right out of the factory. By what I've read, it is the very first car that came with a CD player standard. So some other cars maybe had CD players as options, but this was supposedly the first car that came with a CD player no matter what. Let's see. It does have power windows, but not power locks. 3-speed automatic transmission. It does have air conditioning. Power steering. So this has 54,000 kilometers on it. That's like 30-something thousand miles. So also pretty low miles. It runs great. Jen, would you show the top? So we're going to show you how the top comes off because a lot of people always ask about that. Yeah, Mitsuoka. That's the one, Dave. So for the top, there's 2 latches inside that you pop off up here. And there's a little electric switch down there that you press, which opens this back compartment. And so the back window is solid, and then the top part is vinyl. So it folds up in there. Can you get the strap on? Yep. So it's got this little, like, it's over here. It's got this, like, 3-point strap system. I can't, I might got it. There we go. Okay. So this holds the top down. Then you flip up this little, yep. Do you have the key for?
I do not, but I can go grab it.
Yep, can you go grab the key? I want to show you the trunk because the trunk is pretty interesting on this this little car. If you do get into JDM cars like this, I do recommend learning at least katakana, which is one of the Japanese alphabets. If you can learn katakana, you can usually figure out what something is labeled just based on the sound. So if you sound out those letters, then it will sound somewhat similar to English usually. But they do use katakana for other languages as well. So yeah, this is the engine area. We did add that strut brace. This car, as well as the one that we test drove, both felt very floaty. Like when we drove them, they felt like a 1950s gigantic boat of a car.
But we're coming from minis. So.
Yes, yeah, we're coming from little cars, so. But we were just like, man, it feels like it's huge, even though it's so tiny. But basically, we added this brace and we replaced all the shocks and the suspension bushings in the back, and now it handles awesome. So if you do see videos about people saying like the handling is super weird, they just need to like replace the shocks and the bushings, and they should be good. Also, a lot of people, when they see this car, they'll think it's a 3-cylinder because if you're looking at that, that looks like a 3-cylinder. But the 4th cylinder is actually, or the fourth spark plug is underneath here. So there is a 4th cylinder. So if you are changing the plugs, you just can't see that one. It does have AC. It is fuel injected. So early 90s car, Nissan, runs great. Let's go to possible questions. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it is a 1991 Nissan Figaro. They were only made for 1 year, but there were some like They did make, I thought 2 runs. I heard in the last video he said 3, but where they had to make some extras because there was such a demand for them. To buy one, you actually had to win a lottery, which is pretty common in Japan, that when they bring out limited stuff, they do it through a lottery system. So only, you know, people kind of had a fair chance to buy something. Talked about all that.
I opened the trunk if you want.
Oh yeah. It is a 4-seater, but it is pretty tough to have 2 adults in the back. We have done it, but the back seat is more for children. You can see there it's pretty small. It did come with 4 seat belts. We replaced them all. Because they were pretty grungy when we bought the car. One of the things I've found is that the interiors on these have that weird plastic like stickiness. I guess it's the plastic like decomposing or something. I'm not really sure, but you'll find it on other products too that are old plastics. Will start to get this weird goo on it, and if you touch it, it's very sticky. There's different ways of getting that stuff off, but so there is a trunk. So the top went in there, and then underneath it, there is a trunk with this tray, which this tray is an option. They are kind of hard to get, so I'm glad we have one. It has a little spare tire in there and a jack, but not much else. This is, I don't know if you can see, like, it's pretty small. And it uses, so on the Fiat 850, sometimes they're referred to as wet noses because the front end, the way the hood is built, there's these little water channels, and those get clogged up and then they rust out the front trunk. I noticed this has a very similar drainage system. The roof area, storage area, and the channels around it. And so they have these tubes that run the water down through the car underneath so that it drains down to the ground. So I'll make sure that those don't ever get clogged, otherwise we'll have some issues. What other questions do we have on there?
Questions, yeah.
No, so we talked about that. It was mostly in this condition when we bought it, but we spent probably, the 2 of us, I'd say, I don't know, 6 hours, 10 hours maybe, of just cleaning the interior. Just over and over, lots of magic eraser and what's that?
Polish remover.
Yeah, I forget what that nail polish remover is called. Yeah, just trying to get that goo off. But if you go too far, then you start eating into the plastic. So you got to be careful there. And then
There's even some ramen noodles on the carpet.
yeah, we found ramen noodles. We found the business card of what we think was the dealership that sold the car back in the 90s.
He was asking about the red bar.
So that red bar is to stiffen the car so that it handles better. Parts are actually pretty easy to get. Some things like the trim, and maybe like the rubber under the trim, that sort of stuff is a little difficult to get. But like even the top and the back window, we bought those brand new, from England. There's a Figaro shop in England that, you can get pretty much everything for. It does have some similarities to some other cars. In Canada, there was a Nissan, I forget what it's called. There's a little tiny Nissan Microcar that they sold in Canada, but not in the United States. And it shares some parts with that. I've heard even like the airbox filter has the same filter as the Nissan 300ZX at the time. So There are some shared parts. Otherwise, you can order most of the parts from England, surprisingly, because I guess a lot of these cars were sent to England. Japan is not known for keeping cars around very long. After they're just, a few years old, they will sell them and get something new. So I think a lot of the Figaros ended up going to England because it was legal there first. These became legal in 2016 here in the United States. Let's see. The bar is aftermarket. Do you need it? I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, this is known as a Pike car. So the other Pike cars are the Nissan Pao, the S Cargo, and I think the Mazda BE1 was made in that same Pike factory. What else?
They asked where we got it serviced.
Oh, so that was a problem. I love using Mark, but he is in Portland. We're in Vancouver, so it's hard to get down there unless we can leave the car there. So we were trying to find someone here in Vancouver, and pretty much nobody wanted to touch it. Even if I went to a shop and said, "Here are the brand new parts. I already have them. I just need you to install them because I'm not comfortable. I can't take out bushings. You got to torch them out and have the new ones put in. I don't like putting in suspension stuff because I don't have the tools and such." So anyways, we were having a real hard time finding someone that would replace the shocks and the bushings and that sort of stuff. The shop we go to, what is it called? Figaro in Vancouver was willing to work on it. They work on a lot of Nissans, so they said, yeah, bring it on by. So that's where we go, Figaro's. Let's see. What kind of maintenance does it get? It's pretty normal. The one thing is the oil is... There's a debate as to which oils you should use. If you do have one of these and you're not sure, let me know, and I can look it up, because the manual specifically calls out a type of oil that we don't even have in the United States. So yeah, there's arguments over which oil to use, but I can look that up later if you're interested. As far as where we like to drive this all over the place. It's a very comfortable car. Yeah, we can go on the freeway. We go around town. It doesn't really matter. What's the time?
You have 7 minutes.
Oh, good. We're totally fine. So yeah, this is a great car, and I think a lot of the JDM cars are actually good choices.
Dwayne wants to know what flavor toothpaste.
So Figaro's only came in 4 colors. So if you ever see a Figaro in a different color than it was repainted, may have been repainted anyways. But the 4 colors relate to the 4 seasons of the year, because Japanese people are like that. They always try and find some sort of significant reason to do things. And so this is considered emerald green, which is springtime. I believe summer is aqua blue, pale blue, something like that, one of those colors. Fall is topaz mist, which is actually the most rare color. It's kind of a brownish tan color. It does look actually pretty good on the car though. And then winter is lapis gray. So green, light blue, brownish tan color, and gray are the 4 colors that these came in. Rust issues, yeah, I was going to mention that. So the back window frame, if you are looking at these, the back window has a solid frame around it. That frame rusts in pretty much all of these. It's a metal frame. However, you can buy a brand new fiberglass version of that frame, and that's what we had put in there. When we first were driving the car, you'd be going over a speed bump and you would hear flakes of metal just falling off of the old window frame. So that's probably the most common rust problem on it. But it's not even on the body. It's that piece that goes around the window, and it's replaceable. Outside of that, it's probably just the normal stuff. The only rust that I know of on our car, and we probably should have it looked at, is a little bit at the bottom of the door. Yeah, other than that, I'm not...
People might be wondering about the sticker on the trunk.
Oh.
Or the magnet.
So this is a magnet. There's at least two different magnets like this that you'll see on Japanese cars. This particular one basically means that we're old. However, I've also heard that people will use this particular magnet sticker to represent an old car, so like a classic car. Not so much in Japan. That's more of like an American thing, trying to be cool that, we have this old Japanese car. The other logo that you'll see is like a green and yellow arrow, triangular looking thing. That one means that you're a new driver, kind of like the big L I think they use in Britain, and I think other countries do similar things. Is that all the...
We're keeping up on the questions.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. I'll just touch a little bit on the Mini. It's a 1968 Austin Cooper S. The grille I just bought, it's black, which is more like the Innocenti Mini, which is an Italian Mini. I don't know much about those, so I could be wrong. I believe they were made for Italy. I just got new wheels for it, so super happy with those. They're very wide, but they are still 10-inch rims. These are newer mirrors. These are not original mirrors. I did not restore this to be original. I just wanted to have fun with it. The one thing to note on Cooper S's, they do have 2 gas tanks. I guess because they were higher performance and needed the extra amount of fuel. So the one on the left, I believe, is about 6 gallons, and the one on the right is about 4 gallons. This one does have a retractable top, which I believe was not factory, but this is pretty old, so someone back in the day did install that. I just installed all new white Magnolia gauges with a tack, because these did not have tachometers originally. One unique thing about this car is it was made for Germany, and so it has a locking steering column. That is not common on Minis. To my understanding, crime is higher in Germany, so those cars had the locking steering column. We also installed heated seats when we had all the interior redone. So that's those little switches. And then even on the back, we have little switches. And yes, those are ashtrays for passengers. You put the cigarette on there and the ashes just kind of go through the little thing. I think that's about it for...
You got your signature in there?
Oh, yeah. I'll mention that. So, one of the most famous race car drivers, yes, it is a 1275 engine. One of the most famous race car drivers for Minis is Paddy Hopkirk, and I actually got to meet him, and he signed our sun visor.
I know our time is coming up here and next opening the engine, but I just want to give a shout out to Mark. We look forward to this show every year, so when we heard we were going to miss it, I'm glad that we could put this together because it's fun, and we miss seeing all of you every year. So we'll see you next year, though.
Yep. Nice. Cool. All right, everyone. If you have any other questions, let me know. We are always happy to talk about these cars, and we love driving them around. And some of you might know I follow all the rules of the road in my Scion, drive like a grandma, I guess you might say. But when I'm in my Mini, all rules are off, and I probably drive it way faster than I should because it's fun. But anyways, everyone be safe, and we will be hopping off. Thank you.